Welcome. Let us glimpse the blissful transcendental domain within us. We have to learn to glimpse it so that we can teach others about this bliss. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity to potentialize oneself for the service of fellow divyankas suffering due to the menace of blindness shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with the blissful transcendental state within us. One can learn the way our ancestors had lived in a blissful state. For it, we have to be, first of all, face to face with sound, light, colors, and matter. These formulations, these lively phenomena, not as of transcendental code value 17, Prakash as of transcendental code value 13, Rang as well of transcendental code value 13, and Dravya of transcendental code value 17. Nad and Dravya, Prakash and Rang. Nad Prakash as 30, Rang and Dravya as well 30, and this takes us to Chatushpit, the formulation and foundation. And once we will be on this foundation, then we will be face to face with the foundational, functional base of existence phenomenon of solar universe within each and every human frame, and also within each and every ray of the sun, Surya Rashmi. It is this parallel foundational base within each ray of the sun, Surya Rashmi, and within each human frame, which is to be availed so that the transcendental origin and the way the transcendental domain splits and the way it organizes and the way our existence phenomenon flourishes and the way we are destined to live is to be faced, to be imbibed. And it is for this imbibing, we have to understand the interrelationship, interlocking of Vedic sounds and Brahmajyoti, Sankhnath and Brahmajyoti, Shrotra and Chakshu. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to potentialize oneself for the service of the fellow beings, confronted and within the grip of menace of blindness, shall themselves first be face to face with this interlocking phenomenon of Vedic sounds and Brahmajyoti. One is to feel imbibe Sankhnath, and one is to appreciate the interrelationship, interlocking of Sankhnath and Brahmajyoti and of Shrotra and Chakshu. It is only by this imbibing we will be in a position to be parallel with the blissful state of divine song narration by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra and whole environment going transcendental. Further, we also can be parallel with the state of presence of divine of Mahakavi Surdas. Mahakavi Surdas in blissful state of presence of divine is the state which is lively as a transcendental state within human frame. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be in service of fellow beings under the grip of blindness mensance may be parallel with the blissful domain of Ved Bhagavan Guru Gangeshwaranand Ji. The blissful states of Dhritarashtra, Surdas, and Guru Gangeshwaranand are bright, lively illustrations before us, and we can be inspired to learn more, to potentialize, to be in service of fellow beings. With this, we can be parallel with the values lively within the formulation Antahakaran, internal ultimate sport. The formulation Antahakaran is of transcendental code value 41, which as one more than before of Ganita Sutra 1 takes us to 42, which is 3 multiplied by 14 and triple 14 as triple axis synthesizes value 6, which makes 42 plus 6 is 48. It is Sandhi Vidhan, how the gaps are to be bridged. And it is also parallel with Samidha Mantra, how the yajna fires flourish is the value which is to be imbibed by us, and it is by imbibing by it that we can understand antaryami, the internal dimensions. The formulation antaryami as 16 plus 16, 32, and we know the pair of dimensions of value 16 lead to value 18. 32 and 18 makes 50. And we know that 16 has 2 raised to power 4 as quadruple spatial dimensions lead to synthesis value 8. And the pair of axes of value 8 lead to value 10. Therefore, the formulations Antahakaran and Antaryami are the basic formulations by imbibing whose values we can dive deep within us to be parallel with the transcendental domain lively within us. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to potentialize oneself for natural service of the fellow beings under the menace of blindness shall first themselves learn to be parallel with Antaryami and Antahakaran. Once one will be on this format, and once one will be appreciating that Antahakaran as a formulation of transcendental code value 41 is parallel with the transcendental code value of Ganita Sutra 10 Yavdunam. It is also parallel with Ganita Upsutra 12 Vilokanam. The same is parallel with the transcendental code value of Hanuman. It is Ananta Jyoti. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to potentialize oneself, to be face to face with the transcendental domain lively within us, of the order of Ananta Jyoti, infinitely infinite, lively Jyoti domain, shall sit comfortably and be parallel with the formulation Antahakaran, and one shall approach it by Ganita Sutra 10 Yavdunam and Ganita Sutra 12 Viloknam. One will be fortunate and privileged to follow Hanuman, to be face to face with Ananta Jyoti. It is this way that we can revisit the formulations Chakshu and Surya, the 10 folds of formulation Chakshu and 10 folds of formulation Surya. As far as the first 4 and the last 4, 8 of them are concerned, these are of equal values. The only difference between this pair of formulations is with respect to their 5th and 6th folds. As such, one shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to distinctively imbibe the distinguishing features of 5th and 6th folds of formulation Chakshu and formulation Surya. It is only by understanding, or it is only by imbibing these distinguishing features of Chakshu and Surya in respect of their 5th and 6th folds that one will be potentializing oneself. One shall be learning about it, and it is only this learning which will help the sadhakas to acquire the art and science of teaching fellow beings under the menace of blindness. We can help others to come out of the menace, disadvantages, and to have existence on a transcendental foundation. But for it, we have to learn. It is only by learning that we will be potentializing. And it is by such potentializing, we will be acquiring the needed potentialities for the real service of the fellow beings under the menace of blindness. With it, we have to continue our learning, and we shall learn the features and values of Divya Chakshu, transcendental eye, of transcendental code value 30, parallel with the value of Chatushpit. Then step ahead, one shall learn the values of Gyan Chakshu, the knowledge eye of transcendental code value 34, parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 9, the representative regular body of 9 space. With it, one will be in a position to be parallel with the potentialities of Charma Chakshu, which is of transcendental code value 28, parallel with the Dravya, the content of 9 space. So it is 9 space content which is manifesting our eyes, and we have to learn how this manifestation is to be transcendentally as 9 space body along 8 space foundation. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity to potentialize oneself, to help fellow beings shall themselves learn all about Charam Chakshu, physical eye, Divya Chakshu, transcendental eye, and the Gyan Chakshu, the knowledge eye. It is only by imbibing these distinguishing features of Charam Chakshu, Divya Chakshu, and Gyan Chakshu, one can be of real help to the fellow beings. One shall sit comfortably, one shall learn this, one shall imbibe this, one shall potentialize oneself, and it is only by so potentializing one will be of real help to the fellow beings. With it, we can have a clear idea of the potentialities domain of Charam Chakshu, physical eye, of transcendental code values 15 and 13. However, the formulation charm for Akshar Ref, which will help us reach at transcendental code value 16 for the formulation charm, and these charm chakshu together will lead us to the value 16 and 13, parallel with 16 Ganita Sutras and 13 Ganita Upsutras. One shall learn, one shall know, one shall understand. It is only by dispelling ignorance, it is only by learning, it is only by Gyan, it is only by values of Vedic mathematics of 16 sutras and 13 of sutras, one will be parallel with the inherent potentialities of the physical eye and the way the physical eye transits and transforms into Divya Chakshu, transcendental eye, and further transition and transformation of the transcendental eye as knowledge eye. Sadhakas are fulfilled with the intensity of urge to potentialize oneself for the service of the fellow beings shall themselves learn and dispel their ignorance and be full of the values of Vedic mathematics of 16 Ganita Sutras and 13 Ganita Sutras. It is only by imbibing these values one will be potentializing oneself, and once one will be of such potentialities, one will be of real help for the fellow beings under the mensance of blindness, as it is this knowledge which will help to understand as to how the charm chakshu limitations can be met properly by having transcendental eye, divya chakshu, and by having knowledge eye. One shall revisit the existence of Mahakavi Surdas and of Guru Gangeshwaranand Ji Maharaj. One shall sit comfortably and one shall learn this art, and for it visit the number values 28, 29 and 30. The numbers 1 to 28 lead to factors 56. Numbers values 1 to 29 lead to factors 57. Numbers values range 1 to 30 lead to factors 60. 56 is 28 plus 28, 57 is 28 plus 29, and 60 is 30 by 30. And 28 plus 29 is Brahm Nirvana. It is the ultimate attainment state within human frame. Sadhakas are fulfilled with the intensity of urge to be in service of the fellow beings under the menace of blindness shall themselves learn and themselves go parallel with the transcendental values lively within human frame, and it is by being face to face with them, it is by imbibing those values, one will be of real help to the fellow beings by putting them on the proper format so that they can attain and live parallel with the transcendental foundation available within human frame. With it, one will have to have a pause, and one have to be very, very definite about the ignorance about light and knowledge about darkness. It is the ignorance about light and it is the knowledge about darkness which are to be appreciated. It is only by this appreciation one will be having bliss of the transcendental foundation within human frame. For it, one shall go to the shelter of Isha Vas Upanishad. Andham tama parvishyanti ye asambhutim upasate tattvabhyo ivte tamo yahu sambhutyarataha. Asambhuti is hypercube 9 space body, and Sambhuti is 33 Purusharth, a manifested domain. We have to understand that all those who are in darkness, they are certainly in darkness, but those who are in light, they are in bigger darkness, as the domain of light is not permitting them even to understand about ignorance. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to potentialize themselves shall know very well not only the light but the darkness as well. It is the knowledge of the light and of darkness once distinguishably, characteristics wise within the comprehension of the individual. Only then one can have differentiation of ignorance from knowledge. One is to be well acquainted about it. To test, let us visit the formulation cow. Formulation and the existence phenomenon within body. The formulation Gai is sequentially leading us to 10 folds: 1, 2, 4, 7, 18, 87, 75, and 157. C, 251. C, it is the sequential spectrum split of the content, and see how the linear sequencing 1 to 5 in a cyclic order comes to be 251. To have further appreciation, visit the formulation Doodh, milk. It is of transcendental code value 22, which is Sthapatya, hypercube 6, the sun as a body, Gobar as well is of transcendental code value 22. It is a Samriti. Gomutra 31, it is Vakunt. Dahi 20, it is Dev. Nami, Mak, it is 29. Brahma, it is Panchgavya. See how much ignorant we are about all this. It is our ignorance about it which is coming in our way, not to avail the nature in nature's way. If we are dispelling our ignorance, and for it, first of all, we must appreciate the dual status of center of a cube, fourth geometric dimension, hypercube 4, pair of distinct geometric bodies of half and full units, and the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 leading to 5 factors. The second unit of learning is that the numbers 1 to 10 are of factors 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And the numbers range 1 to 10 is leading to 16 factors. There are 16 Ganita Sutras, and one may have a pause here and take note that the number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 has 5 factors, 1 to 4, 5 of 6 factors, 1 to 6 of 8 factors, 1 to 8 of 12 factors, 1 to 12 of 20 factors. It is Veda. So if we want to go the Sankhya way, then we have to appreciate the inner structures of the whole numbers in terms of the factors of the parallel ranges. Further, as a unit 3, we must appreciate the transcendental code values, how the Varan becomes Matrika, how the letters are accepting value units, vowels 1 to 9, 5 cross 5 Varga consonants as 1 to 5, 2 to 6, 3 to 7, 4 to 8, 5 to 9. Anthastas 1 to 3, 5, 7, Ushmanas 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, Yamas 9 to 16. We have to have real comprehension of the interrelationship and interlocking of the letters and the numbers. Step ahead, as a fourth unit, we have to revisit Sthapatya as of a transcendental code value 20 as hypercube 6, the representative or regular body of 6 space, which with its dimensional frame of 6 creative dimensions sequentially manifests as a single axis hypercube 1, as pair of axis hypercube 2, as triple axis hypercube 3, as quadruple axis hypercube 4, as pentaxis hypercube 5, and hexa number of axis hypercube 6. The fifth unit of learning is that we shall well appreciate as to the numbers 1 to 100 are having geometric formats. Number 1 is of hypercube half, 2 as hypercube 1 of full unit, hypercube 3, and number value 3 as hypercube 1, number value 4 as D3, 3 space content. And sequentially like that, we can reach at the geometric formats of the numbers range 1 to 100. The sixth learning unit is that we shall be parallel with the space content split as 1, 2, 5, 12, 29, and so on. Synthesis of dimensions of the same order. 1, 3, 6, 10, 25, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Difference value -1, 0, 2, 5. Then difference value 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0. We can also be parallel with the hypercube 1 leading to coordinates 2, hypercube 2 leading to coordinates 8, which is hypercube 1 plus hypercube 2, and so on. The seventh unit which we have to imbibe is we have to distinctively imbibe three-space Vedic mathematics, science, and technology by having an eye upon the origin of three-space, which is of value hypercube 3 of full unit plus hypercube 3 of half unit. Four-space Vedic mathematics, science, and technology with the eye upon the transcendental origin of four-space takes us to hypercube 4 of full unit plus hypercube 4 of half unit. Five-space Vedic mathematics, science, and technology with the eye upon the self-referral origin of hypercube 5 is of value hypercube 5 of full unit plus hypercube 5 of half unit. And six-space Vedic mathematics, science, and technology with the eye upon the origin of sun is of value hypercube 6 of full unit plus hypercube 6 of half unit. And the hypercube 3 plus hypercube 3 of full and half units is Narad. Hypercube 4 of full and half unit is Brahma. Hypercube 5 of full and half units is Shri Bhagwan. Hypercube 6 of full and half units is Navbrahm. We have to learn further. And the eighth unit of learning is that we should know the 10 folds of transcendental code values. And this is of split of 4 and 6 creative units of transcendental domain. The formulation Shiv for its first 4 folds is of value 19, creation. And of the other 6 folds is value 519, which is parallel with the total letters of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras. The 9th learning unit is about the Antrik Sthapatya, the inner formatting. It is Varan 18, Ank 8, Sthapatya 22, Bahar 21, Madhya 19, Antrik 22, Sulokya 20, Samipya 25, Sarupya 21, Sayujya 15, and thus Swambhu 45, total 236, parallel with the total letters of Ganita Upsutras. The 10th learning is about the Maheshwara Sutras. There are 14 Maheshwara Sutras, and the total values of all the letters, including Anubandhas of 14 Maheshwara Sutras, is 283, parallel with the total letters of Ganita Sutras. One shall sit comfortably and one shall learn, one shall dispel one's ignorance, one shall be parallel with the Vedic systems to glimpse and imbibe the transcendental field lively within us. And once one will be potentializing oneself like that, one will be in the real service of the fellow beings under the menace of a blindness. Thank you very much.